Good morning, friends. Today we're diving into something that is uncomfortable but critical. You must force yourself. Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody likes the idea of pushing past their comfort zone. But let me tell you this. It's not comfort that shapes you. It's discipline, and discipline requires force. You can either let life happen to you, or you can take control and force yourself to make it happen. Let me tell you a secret. Growth begins where comfort ends. Think about a seed that has to break open to grow into a tree. That process is violent, uncomfortable, and disruptive, but it's necessary. You want to achieve more, become more, experience more, then you have to embrace the pain of progress. It's not always going to feel good. Growth is messy. You'll be tempted to quit. But when you feel like stopping, force yourself to keep going. Because that moment right there is where the magic happens. Many of you are stuck because you're telling yourself the wrong story. I can't. I'm not ready. I'm not good enough. Those aren't facts. They're excuses. Rewrite the script. Instead of saying I can't, say I must. Instead of saying I'm not ready, say I'll learn as I go. How do you rewrite your story? One small decision at a time. Force yourself to make the choices that align with the future you want, not the excuses of the moment. Growth begins where comfort ends. Embracing the pain of progress is one of the most transformative decisions you can make. Comfort is alluring. It's a safe space where there's no risk of failure or criticism. It's where you don't have to put in the effort to confront the unknown. But here's the truth. Comfort doesn't lead to growth. Comfort keeps you stagnant. When you remain in your comfort zone, you're not truly living, you're merely existing. Growth, real growth, requires discomfort, effort, and a willingness to step into the unknown. It's the hard work, the failure, and the perseverance that develop resilience and character. Think of the moments in your life when you truly evolved, when you felt like you leveled up in some significant way. Those moments weren't born out of ease or relaxation. They were born out of struggles, challenges, and moments where you doubted yourself but kept going anyway. The most rewarding experiences in life usually come after a period of significant discomfort. Whether it's starting a new career, learning a skill, rebuilding after a failure, or navigating through loss, growth happens because you are willing to endure temporary pain for lasting improvement. The comfort zone is a sneaky thing. It wraps itself around you like a warm blanket, convincing you that it's the best place to be. It tells you things like, you've got enough, why take the risk, or what if you fail? But what that voice doesn't tell you is that staying where you are also comes at a cost. The cost of untapped potential, unrealized dreams, and the painful regret of never knowing what you're truly capable of. When you choose to avoid discomfort, you're making a decision to live below your potential. Every time you shy away from stepping into discomfort, you reinforce the idea in your mind that comfort is safe and risk is dangerous, even when it's not true. The truth is, discomfort is not something to fear. It is something to embrace, because it is the birthplace of all progress. It's like growing muscles at the gym. They only grow when you push them past their current limits. You have to lift weights heavier than you've lifted before. It's painful, and your body resists it at first. But it's only through that process that growth happens. Your mind works the same way. It grows stronger when you subject it to challenges, when you force yourself to confront fears, and when you rise after setbacks. Growth and pain are partners in progress. Yet, the fear of stepping outside of what is known keeps many people trapped. The unknown is scary because there are no guarantees. But what's scarier is staying in one place while the rest of the world moves forward. Imagine staying in the same job you hate because it's comfortable, only to realize years later that you've sacrificed your dreams on the altar of security. Imagine not pursuing a relationship or an opportunity because it felt risky, only to live with the lingering thought of what if for the rest of your life. That fear of regret, the idea that you could have done more, achieved more, and lived more, should outweigh the fear of temporary discomfort. People who understand the necessity of discomfort reframe it in their minds. They don't see it as punishment or failure. They see it as an essential step. They view discomfort as the evidence that they're moving towards something meaningful. The person who wakes up at 5 a.m. to exercise when they'd rather sleep isn't just working out. They're cultivating discipline. In every case, it's not about avoiding the pain. It's about using it as a tool for growth. There's something almost magical about what happens when you push past the limits of what feels comfortable. At first, it's difficult. Your mind will tell you to stop, your body will rebel, and you'll wonder why you're even trying. But as you keep going, something changes. What once felt uncomfortable starts to feel natural. What seemed impossible starts to feel achievable. You develop confidence in your ability to handle challenges, and that confidence spills over into other areas of your life. Growth begets growth. And it all starts with the decision to step outside the safety of your comfort zone. Growth isn't a one-time event. It's a continual process. And that process requires you to choose discomfort over and over again. It means accepting that every level of success will come with new challenges, new risks, and new opportunities to expand. When you achieve one goal, you won't stay there for long because true growth-oriented people are always looking for the next step. It's not because they're dissatisfied, but because they understand that the act of striving itself is what leads to fulfillment. Comfort, while pleasant in the moment, ultimately leaves you empty. Struggle, on the other hand, brings purpose. This isn't about being reckless or intentionally seeking out pain. It's about recognizing that there is no reward without risk. It's about understanding that avoiding discomfort doesn't spare you from challenges. It only delays them and often makes them harder to confront. If you avoid the small discomfort of having an honest conversation today, you may face a much larger conflict down the line. If you avoid the discomfort of learning new skills now, you might find yourself struggling to keep up later. Life will always challenge you whether you choose growth or not. The difference is that when you choose to face discomfort intentionally, you are in control. Taking that first step is the hardest part. The idea of moving outside your comfort zone is overwhelming at first. You don't need to have all the answers or see the entire path laid out before you. What you need is the courage to take one step, and then another, and then another. Each step you take builds momentum, and with that momentum, the resistance you feel will start to diminish. It won't disappear entirely. Growth is an ongoing process, but you'll get stronger. The things that once scared you won't feel so daunting anymore. Every person who has achieved greatness in their life has embraced discomfort in some form. Athletes train their bodies to endure pain so they can compete at the highest level. Artists face criticism and vulnerability to create work that impacts the world. Leaders make tough decisions, not because it's easy, but because they understand the cost of avoiding responsibility. Every success story is built on a foundation of moments where someone chose to lean into discomfort rather than run from it. What separates those who grow from those who don't isn't talent, intelligence, or luck. It's the willingness to push through the barrier of discomfort and embrace the challenges that lead to growth. It's the understanding that the temporary pain of progress is far less costly than the long-term pain of regret. Choosing to grow means choosing to live fully, to step into the best version of yourself, and to embrace the extraordinary potential that lies within you.
Motion creates momentum. Action defeats hesitation. Think about the times in your life when you felt stuck, unsure of what to do next, or even overwhelmed by the magnitude of the task ahead of you. That paralysis comes from overthinking, from allowing your mind to run through endless scenarios, possibilities, and what ifs. What's missing in those moments isn't clarity, it's movement. The simple truth is this: nothing starts without action. The tiniest step, no matter how small, is what sets everything in motion. When you sit and wait for motivation, you're giving up control over your own progress. You're essentially saying, I'll wait until I feel like it, but that moment may never come. Motivation doesn't appear out of thin air. It's the result of starting. The first step creates momentum, and that momentum fuels more action. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. But with each roll, it grows in size and speed, gaining power. The same principle applies to your actions. You might begin with something simple, even something you feel doesn't matter much. But as you build on that initial step, the results compound. People often underestimate the power of starting small. They think that if their action isn't grand, if it doesn't produce instant results, then it's not worth doing. But the reality is, success is made up of countless small actions strung together over time. The simple act of getting started, of initiating movement, is the most powerful thing you can do. Action creates energy. Even if you feel uncertain or doubtful, doing something, anything, toward your goal instantly shifts you from a passive state to an active one. That shift is critical. When you take action, even if it's imperfect or incomplete, you begin to build confidence. Confidence doesn't come from sitting still, hoping that you'll magically feel ready. It comes from proving to yourself through action that you're capable of making progress. Each small win reinforces your belief in yourself, and that belief propels you forward. It's a cycle, and it starts with breaking the inertia of inaction. The longer you wait to act, the harder it becomes to start. It's like a car stuck in mud. Getting it moving is tough at first, but once it's in motion, it's easier to keep it going. One of the biggest barriers to taking action is the fear of a failure. What if it doesn't work? What if I make a mistake? These questions often paralyze people and can keep them from starting. But failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. The action you take teaches you something, what works out perfectly or not. In fact, mistakes often teach you more than success does. The real failure isn't taking a misstep. It's not stepping at all. When you act, you gather information, learn, and adapt. That process is how you improve. Action also defeats the trap of overthinking. Overthinking keeps you stuck in your mind, spinning scenarios and possibilities without making progress. It's exhausting and unproductive. When you take action, you pull yourself out of your head and into the real world. You stop guessing and start experimenting. You may not have all the answers when you begin, but taking that first step gives you clarity. It reveals the next step and then the next. Clarity comes from doing, not from waiting for the perfect plan. Hesitation robs you of energy and opportunity. The longer you hesitate, the more you convince yourself of all the reasons why you shouldn't move forward. That internal debate drains your confidence and creates doubt where there didn't need to be any. But the moment you take action, you disrupt that cycle. You interrupt the hesitation and channel your energy into something productive. Even if the action feels small or insignificant, it has the power to shift your entire mindset. Momentum is one of the most underrated forces in life. It's the unseen energy that keeps things moving, compounding over time to create incredible results. The more you act, the more momentum you build, and the easier it becomes to keep going. When you have momentum on your side, challenges seem smaller and you feel unstoppable. But without action, there's no momentum. And without momentum, even small tasks can feel impossible. Think about a time in your life when you pushed yourself to start something, even though you didn't feel ready. Maybe it was a workout, a project, or a conversation you were avoiding. Once you started, something shifted. You found a rhythm, a flow, and before you knew it, you were in motion. That initial resistance, the voice telling you to wait, to stop, to think longer, disappeared once you acted. That's the power of motion, creating momentum Sometimes the key to taking action is breaking the task into the smallest possible step. When a goal feels too big or overwhelming, your mind can trick you into thinking it's impossible. But when you focus on the next smallest action, it becomes manageable. Instead of thinking about writing an entire book, think about writing one page. Instead of committing to a year-long fitness plan, think about focusing up to the gym today. Each small action builds on the last, and over time, those actions create massive change. Action also builds resilience. When you act, you encounter obstacles, setbacks, and challenges, but each time you push through them, you grow stronger. Resilience is like a muscle. It develops through repeated use. The more you act, the more resilient you become, and the less intimidating challenges seem. You realize that you're capable of handling whatever comes your way, and that realization propels you to take even more action. It's important to remember that progress isn't always linear. There will be days when your actions don't seem to yield immediate results. There will be times when it feels like you're moving backward. But motion, even when it feels slow, is still motion. The key is to keep going, to trust that the momentum you're building will eventually carry you forward. Every step you take, no matter how small, adds to the momentum that will drive you toward your goal. Yeah. When you act, you take control of your life. You stop being a passive participant and become an active creator. Action empowers you to shape your future instead of waiting for circumstances to dictate it. It puts you in the driver's seat, giving you the ability to navigate toward the life you want. Motion creates momentum, and momentum is what leads to lasting change. Rewrite your story by choosing purpose over excuses. Every day, you have a choice to either be defined by the narrative you've carried or to create a new one that aligns with the life you want. Excuses are easy. They are the mind's way of justifying inaction and protecting itself from discomfort. They tell you that you're not ready, not capable, or not worthy. But excuses are just stories, ones we tell ourselves to avoid the hard work of change. And purpose, on the other hand, demands accountability. It requires that you step into a higher version of yourself and take ownership of your life. The story you tell yourself determines everything. If you repeat that you're not good enough, that success is for other people, or that circumstances are holding you back, then that story becomes your reality. Your brain listens to what you say and works to make it true. But the incredible thing is that you also have the power to rewrite that story. You can decide at any moment to replace the script of limitation with one of possibility. You can take the pen from the past and start writing a story where you're the hero, not the victim. Choosing purpose means aligning your life with what truly matters to you. It's about identifying your core values, your goals, and the impact you want to make. Excuses often come from fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. But when you have a clear purpose, that fear loses its grip on you. Purpose gives you direction and focus. It becomes the guiding light that helps you navigate through challenges and distractions. When you know your why, you have the fuel to push through the discomfort of growth. Excuses are sneaky because they often sound reasonable. I don't have enough time, or I need to wait until things are perfect. Might feel like valid reasons, but they are simply ways of avoiding responsibility. No one has extra time or ideal circumstances. Successful people face the same challenges, but they choose to act in spite of them. The difference is that they are driven by purpose, not held back by excuses. They see obstacles as opportunities to grow, not as reasons to quit. To rewrite your story, you have to change the internal dialogue you've been rehearsing for years. It starts with identifying the excuses that have been holding you back. What are the reasons you give yourself for not starting, for not trying, for not risking? Are they based on truth, or are they simply fears dressed up as facts? Once you recognize these excuses for what they are, you can challenge them. Ask yourself, is this excuse serving me? Is it helping me move closer to my goals, or is it keeping me stuck? Replacing excuses with purpose means shifting your focus from what's wrong to what's possible. Instead of saying, I can't because, start saying, I will because. For example, if you've been telling yourself, I can't pursue my dream because I don't have the right resources, reframe it as, I will pursue my dream because it's what I'm passionate about and I'll find a way to make it work. This small shift in language has a profound impact on your mindset. It moves you from a place of limitation to one of empowerment. Purpose gives you clarity, and clarity gives you power. When you're clear on what you want and why it matters, distractions lose their appeal. Excuses seem less convincing when you're focused on something bigger than yourself. You start to see that every action you take is either moving you closer to your purpose or pulling you further away. This awareness helps you make better decisions, even when it's difficult. And choosing purpose also means being willing to let go of the old narrative that no longer serves you. It might feel safe to cling to a story that blames external factors for your situation, but safety isn't the same as happiness. True happiness comes from knowing that you are living in alignment with your purpose, even if it requires effort, sacrifice, and stepping into the unknown. And it's about taking control of your story and refusing to let circumstances, past failures, or the opinions of others dictate your future.
When you rewrite your story, you don't just change how you see yourself, you change how others see you too. People are drawn to those who live with purpose because it's inspiring. It shows that you're not afraid to take risks, to stand for something, and to pursue a life of meaning. This ripple effect can impact your relationships, your career, and even your community. When you stop making excuses and start living with purpose, you set an example for others to do the same. Make decisions on purpose, that's my word now, to make decisions on purpose and to make the transformation that means more time for you, your family, and your community. The process of rewriting your story isn't about pretending that challenges don't exist. It's about acknowledging them and choosing to rise above them. It's about recognizing that while you can't control everything, you can always control your response. Instead of saying, I can't because of this challenge, you say, I will because this purpose is worth the challenge. That shift in perspective is what separates those who succeed from those who remain stuck. Purpose gives your life direction, but it's up to you to take the steps that bring that purpose to life. It's not enough to identify what you want, you have to act on it. Action is what bridges the gap between intention and reality. Every time you take a step toward your purpose, no matter how small, you're rewriting your story. You're proving to yourself that you have the power to change, to grow, and to create the life you envision. The beauty of rewriting your story is that it's never too late to start. No matter how long you've been living a script written by excuses, you have the ability to turn the page and begin a new chapter. It won't always be easy and it won't happen overnight, but every choice you make to prioritize purpose over excuses brings you closer to the life you were meant to live. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. Each day is an opportunity to take a step, to make a different choice, to move in alignment with your purpose instead of succumbing to the comfort of excuses. Small wins compound. Focus on consistent effort. Life is not transformed in one giant leap, but in the accumulation of small, deliberate actions taken day after day. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that big success requires dramatic moves or enormous shifts. While dramatic changes can occasionally play a role, they are not the foundation of meaningful, sustainable progress. That foundation is built on consistent effort, on committing to small, repeatable actions that over time lead to extraordinary results. These small wins are not flashy or immediately gratifying, but their impact is profound when compounded over days, weeks, months, and years. The reason small wins are so powerful is that they are achievable. They break down the overwhelming into the manageable. When you focus on massive, far-off goals without a plan, it's easy to feel paralyzed by the scale of what needs to be done. But when you focus on achieving a small win, you immediately shift your energy toward action. It's no longer about climbing an entire mountain in one step. It's about taking the first step and then the next. These small victories, seemingly insignificant on their own, create momentum. They build confidence. Each small win reinforces the belief that progress is possible. The beauty of small wins is that they are tangible evidence of forward movement. When you achieve even the tiniest success, it's a reminder that you are capable of taking control of your actions and influencing outcomes. This reminder is vital because doubt and fear thrive in stagnation. The longer you go without seeing progress, the more those negative feelings take hold. But when you focus on small wins, you disrupt that cycle. You shift your mindset from one of uncertainty to one of empowerment. You begin to see that big results are nothing more than a collection of small victories. Small wins also create a psychological shift. Each time you accomplish something, no matter how minor, your brain releases dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with feelings of pleasure and reward. This release reinforces the behavior, making you more likely to continue. Over time, this creates a habit loop where consistent effort becomes second nature. It no longer feels like a struggle to take action. It becomes part of who you are. This shift is crucial for long-term success because it's not enough to achieve a goal. You must also maintain it. Habits born from small wins are the key to maintaining momentum. One of the biggest challenges people face is the temptation to chase quick fixes or instant results. The promise of overnight success is enticing, but is rarely sustainable. Real growth and transformation require patience, perseverance, and an understanding of the power of compounding. When you consistently focus on small, meaningful actions, their effects multiply over time. The changes may be imperceptible at first, but they are happening. It's like planting seeds. You don't see the results immediately, but with care and consistency, those seeds grow into something extraordinary. Think about how this principle applies to any area of life. In health, small changes like drinking more water, walking for 10 minutes a day, or swapping unhealthy snacks for nutritious options can lead to significant improvements over time. In relationships, small gestures like expressing gratitude, listening attentively, or making time for meaningful conversations strengthen bonds. In career or personal development, setting aside even 15 minutes a day to learn, create, or strategize compounds into skills and opportunities that can transform your trajectory. The key is to start small and to remain consistent. Small wins are also powerful because they are within your control. In a world filled with uncertainty, where so much feels beyond your influence, focusing on what you can control provides a sense of stability and empowerment. You may not be able to control the outcome of a project, the reactions of others, or external circumstances, but you can control the effort you put in today. You can control the decision to take one step forward. This sense of control is empowering and reminds you that progress is always possible, even in the face of adversity. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean that you have to get everything right every single time. What it means is that you show up over and over, regardless of setbacks, distractions, or doubts. It means committing to the process and trusting that small efforts will add up. There will be days when motivation is low, when the temptation to skip a task or abandon routine feels strong. On those days, focusing on just one small action can make all the difference. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. As small wins accumulate, something remarkable happens. They begin to change how you see yourself. Instead of seeing yourself as someone who struggles to succeed, you start to see yourself as someone who takes action, who follows through, and who is capable of achieving meaningful goals. This shift in identity is critical because behavior follows belief. When you believe in your ability to create change, you act accordingly. Small wins strengthen this belief, creating a positive feedback loop that drives even greater effort and results. Another reason small wins are so impactful is that they provide a sense of progress, even when the ultimate goal still feels distant. Progress is one of the most powerful motivators. It reminds you that your effort is paying off and that you are moving in the right direction. Without this sense of progress, it's easy to lose motivation and give up. But when you focus on small wins, you always have something to celebrate. You always have evidence that you're getting closer to where you want to be. It's important to remember that small wins don't have to be grand or noticeable to anyone else. They are personal milestones, meaningful because they represent your commitment to growth. Whether it's completing a task, resisting a temptation, or taking the first step toward a new habit, these wins are significant. They are proof that you are prioritizing consistent effort over excuses and that you are willing to embrace the process of growth, no matter how slow it may seem. The compounding effect of small wins also builds resilience. Each time you achieve a small victory, you equip yourself with the tools and confidence to tackle bigger challenges. The obstacles that once seemed insurmountable become manageable because you've trained yourself to take action. You've built the habit of breaking problems into smaller, actionable steps. And you've proven to yourself that progress is always possible. This resilience carries you through difficult times and keeps you moving forward, even when the journey feels uncertain. The path to success is often long and unpredictable. There will be moments of doubt, setbacks, and roadblocks that threaten to derail your progress. But when you focus on small wins, you create a sense of continuity and stability. No matter what happens, you always have the ability to take one more step to create one more win. This mindset is what separates those who persevere from those who give up. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect plan. It's about taking imperfect action and trusting the power of consistent effort. Discomfort is the gateway to transformation. Lean into it. Growth never comes from staying within the boundaries of what is easy or familiar. It's in those moments of challenge, struggle, and even pain that you tap into your true potential. Discomfort has a way of shaking you from the illusion of safety, forcing you to confront your limits and stretch beyond them. It's a catalyst for change, but only if you are willing to embrace it rather than avoid it. Too often, people associate discomfort with danger or failure, when in reality, it is simply a sign that you're stepping into uncharted territory, a space where real progress happens. When you lean into discomfort, you open yourself up to experiences and possibilities that were previously out of reach. Growth requires adaptation, and adaptation only occurs when you expose yourself to something new or challenging. This might mean tackling a project you feel unprepared for, having a difficult conversation you've been avoiding, or taking a risk that makes your stomach churn. Whatever form it takes, discomfort is the signpost that tells you you're on the edge of something meaningful. Staying in your comfort zone might feel safe, but it's also the place where dreams stagnate, opportunities are missed, and potential goes untapped. Avoiding discomfort keeps you trapped in a cycle of mediocrity. It allows fear to dictate your actions and keeps you from discovering what you're truly capable of. The problem is that comfort, while tempting, is also deceptive. It lulls you into a state of complacency, making you believe that staying where you are is enough. But deep down, there's a part of you that knows the truth, that growth lies just beyond that barrier of resistance. Every day you crack the problem with this one simple: discomfort isn't a sign to retreat. It's a signal to push forward. In fact, some of the most transformative experiences in life are born from discomfort. Think about the times when you've learned the most, grown the most, or achieved something you once thought impossible. Chances are those moments were preceded by struggle, doubt, and uncertainty. That's because discomfort forces you to engage more deeply with the process. It strips away the superficial and brings you face to face with your own determination, resilience, and capacity for change. It challenges you to rise to the occasion and prove to yourself that you are stronger than you think. Leaning into discomfort doesn't mean you won't feel fear, anxiety, or resistance. Those emotions are natural and inevitable whenever you're stepping into something new or challenging. But the key is to recognize them for what they are: temporary reactions, not permanent barriers. Fear is not your enemy. It's a signal that you're stepping outside the boundaries of what's known and stepping into the realm of growth. Instead of running from it, use it as fuel. Let it remind you that you're doing something that matters, something that will stretch you and make you better. Discomfort often feels the strongest right before a breakthrough. There's a tipping point where the pressure seems unbearable, where doubt and discomfort are at their peak. But this is also the moment when your closest breakthrough. It's like the resistance sprinter feels right before cross. If you can lean into that discomfort, stay the course, and push just a little further, you'll often find that the reward is greater than you imagine. One of the reasons people avoid discomfort is the belief that it reflects weakness or inadequacy. They think that struggling or feeling uncertain means they're not good enough, not capable enough, or not ready. But discomfort is not a reflection of your limitations. It's a reflection of your willingness to grow. Struggle is a natural part of the process, not a sign that you're failing. In fact, the very act of leaning into discomfort demonstrates strength, courage, and determination. It shows that you are willing to do what it takes to achieve your goals, even if it's hard or uncomfortable. Discomfort is also a great teacher. It has a way of revealing truths about yourself that you might not see otherwise. It shows you where your limits are and where you need to grow. It forces you to confront your fears, insecurities, and doubts. And in doing so, it gives you the opportunity to overcome them. Each time you face discomfort head-on, you learn more about what you're capable of. You discover strengths you didn't know you had, and you build the kind of confidence that only comes from taking on challenges and coming out the other side stronger. When you embrace discomfort, you take control of your narrative. Instead of letting fear or uncertainty dictate your decisions, you reclaim your power. You choose growth over stagnation, progress over complacency, and potential over predictability. It's not about ignoring discomfort or pretending it's not there. It's about acknowledging it and deciding that it won't hold you back. You might feel uncomfortable, but you take action anyway. You might feel afraid, but you push forward regardless. This mindset is what separates those who grow and succeed from those who remain stuck. Discomfort also helps you build resilience. Each time you lean into it, you strengthen your ability to handle challenges and navigate uncertainty. You become less afraid of the unknown because you've proven to yourself that you can handle it. You've faced discomfort before, and you've come out stronger on the other side. This resilience not only helps you in the moment, but also prepares you for future challenges. And remember, the more you practice leaning into discomfort, the less intimidating it becomes. You start to see it not as something to be avoided, but as something to be embraced. The transformation that comes from embracing discomfort isn't just about external achievements. It's about who you become in the process. When you push through resistance, face challenges, and overcome doubts, you emerge with a deeper sense of self. You start to see yourself as someone who's capable, resilient, and willing to do what it takes to achieve their goals. This shift in identity is powerful. It doesn't just affect what you do, it affects how you see yourself and what you believe is possible. Discomfort is not something to be feared, it's a sign that you're on the right path. It's the price of growth, and it's worth every moment of struggle and uncertainty. Each time you lean into it, you take a step closer to becoming the person you want to be. You gain clarity, confidence, and momentum. You stop waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect circumstances and start creating them through action. You realize that the only way to grow is to push past what is comfortable and step into the unknown, trusting that the discomfort is temporary, but the transformation is lasting.